Ladies and gentlemen, Dave Harmon is my name, and I'm a member of the Cabinet of the European Commissioner for Research, Innovation and Science, Maire Geoghegan Quinn. And in that Cabinet, I'm responsible for relations dealing with the international community, dealing with relations on behalf of the EU with countries and organisations from the public, private and research sectors from around the world. So it's very interesting to have this meeting today, because it's been referenced already. There are participants here at this conference from many parts of the world, and that actually focuses in on a word that's very dear to our heart in DG Research and Innovation, and that is the word of collaboration. Because in the end of the day, if we're going to succeed in developing new goods and services that are going to maintain employment in Europe, that are going to create new jobs and that are going to improve the quality of living for all our people, we need the best science and research, and science and research does not stop at any borders. And that is why under the FP7 programme, and our next and final call worth €8 billion coming up on the 9th of July, it is a programme that is open to all participants. In fact, we have organisations from 185 different countries participating in FP7 programmes in a variety of different components of that initiative, and ICT, of course, is the largest component, but there are other elements including the health, transport, energy, security, space, agriculture, fisheries, SME, research infrastructures, of course, that are included in that. So I'd like at the outset just to take the opportunity to highlight that our next call is coming up on July the 9th, and use your influence and your contacts to make sure that interested parties are fully aware of this call, that may be interested in participating in it, and particularly those that have not participated to date. And I said from any part of the world, organisations can participate in that context, although an FP7 project has to be led by an organisation from the European Union or from one of the 14 associated member states. Commissioner Geoghegan Quinn is very committed to rolling out research infrastructures in accordance with the S3 roadmap that was put in place in 2002, that specifies just short of 50 different research infrastructures that should be put in place across a range of different components and sectoral interests. 15 of those are up and running in some shape or form at the moment, and the EU contributes €2 billion to that process. So in that context, I'd like to thank Osiris for organising and leading this event that's been sponsored by MEP Van Brent, because their studies in itself have sought to closely look at how research infrastructures operate in a practical sense, and they bring forward proposals as to how to improve the quality of rolling out research infrastructures that not only take place within the European Union, but that take place in a global context. And this is very important because the European Commission is very committed to playing its part in participating in research infrastructures into the future. However, there are a few bridges to be crossed. The European Commission has, of course, approved a budget of €80 billion for Horizon 2020 in the context of the next financial perspective, 2014-2020. The EU leaders are discussing this MFF proposal in its broadest element when they meet at the end of June, and with a view to completing MFF discussions at the end of December. At least that's the deadline or time frame that has been set out. Whether that's reached or not remains to be seen. But there are still a number of countries, some of whom are strong participants within our FP7 programme, that would like to see a reduction in the overall financial envelope for the MFF of up to €100 billion. So that will mean, if that were to materialise, and there's no guarantee that will do as of now, pressure is going to mount on big funding lines like Horizon 2020, the Common Agricultural Policy and EU structural funds. So I'd like to use this opportunity to just say, feel free to lobby your respective governments your research ministers, your finance ministers, to highlight the importance of backing research and innovation and science as a key driver for growth and jobs, as a key driver to ensure that Europe can remain competitive into the future, as a driver to guarantee we can maintain employment in Europe and put the conditions in place to create further new jobs into the future. And as has been referenced earlier on, that is why the Horizon 2020 has been set up, and that is why it has been structured. And already at the end of May, the Competitiveness Council has agreed the general scope and structure of Horizon 2020, which is built on 3 primary blocks. One is supporting excellence in science, because without excellent science you can't develop new goods and services for the future. So there's strong financial backing for the European Research Council, the Marie Skłodowska-Curie programme, future and emerging technologies, and of course research infrastructures. Equally, in the second element of Horizon 2020 is a commitment to financially support industrial technologies, such as key and enabling technologies, and also there are provisions there concerning access to finance and the SME instrument. And the third primary block relates to combating grand societal challenges, and those challenges, as we all know, relate to healthy ageing, supporting more efficient renewable energies, building a cleaner transport network in Europe, combating climate change, building towards sustainable agriculture, and supporting inclusive societies. In dealing with those issues and research infrastructures across a range of different elements, thread through funding lines in that context under the rubric of the Horizon 2020 framework, as well as under the next call for proposals. I had mentioned earlier on that collaboration is very important, and already in the rollout under SFRE, the PRACE programme, if I've pronounced that right, PRACE, dealing with advanced computing, has collaboration at its core and is one of the key and most important research infrastructures that the European Union wants to roll out. And I know that further programmes such as GEONT and EGI have strong collaboration in many parts of the world, including in the Asia Pacific region and in Latin America. I would urge as well that it's very important that national research organisations do open up their programmes to researchers from around the world. It's always very difficult to achieve this, but it's very important too if we're going to guarantee that we can produce the proper services and goods and science for the future. And as you know, so much of this science is so exciting across all the ranges, and agreement, as you're aware, for the construction of the next SK facility has been secured with a participation from both South Africa and Australia, but the European Commission was very strongly supportive that this project will be up and running. The principles are important for the building of such research infrastructures because it avoids duplication of effort. In many cases, no one country or no one continent can actually carry out these research activities on her own. We need broad international cooperation, and that's why I welcome that a senior group of research officials from the G8 and from the BRICS country is up and running to see how best we can look to putting in place global research infrastructures in a streamlined manner into the future, because as you know, these projects are very expensive, they're difficult to cost in many cases, so we all have to work together to ensure that everyone knows what they're getting themselves into at each turn. I would finalise my comments by saying ICT is still the largest funding component of FP7. It will be the largest component of Horizon 2020. That's very important as it fits in with the objectives of Europe 2020, and it fits in with the objectives of ensuring that at a time when there's growing international markets in research, innovation and science, such as China and India and Brazil, that the European Union is firmly open for business in new and evolving technological fields, and in that context the EU will play a central role in research infrastructures into the future, ICT infrastructures as outlined today, and Commissioner Geoghegan Quinn is committed to that process. All right, thank you.